Today we're going to be making a mini market bag. First, we're going to make a slip knot. This is how we start any knitting project. There's a little trick for this bag. You can measure up your tail end to be about 3 times the width of the bag and make your slip knot at that point. This way you can use that remaining tail to seam the bottom of the bag. Then we're going to cast on. You can pretty much use any cast on method. The easiest one is backward loop. So this is what we're doing here. When you're done casting on the required number of stitches, you want to make sure that you don't twist. If you twist, then you will have to basically undo. So make sure all the stitches are nice and even and everything is facing in the same direction. When you're ready to connect, you just get a stitch holder. This way you can mark your rounds and just start your first round. We're just going to use the knit stitch. And this bag is so easy to do because you don't have to do the purl stitch. It's all just knit. So that's the beauty of knitting in the round. You can do stockinette without doing any purl. It's all just knit. And we just keep going. And when you get close to the end of the round, move the stitch holder back, and that's it. And then you just get started on your next round and just keep knitting. When you're done knitting the required number of rounds, this is where we're going to start working on the handle. So first you just knit, and then we are going to cast off some stitches. So we knit 2 and then we pull the yarn over. Okay, so we just cast off 1, then we knit 1 more, pull the yarn over. So we're just casting off some stitches. This is where our handle is going to be. Okay, so this is where the first handle is going to go. And then we do the same thing for the second handle. First we knit. We are going to cast off for the second handle. There we go. This is where the second handle is going to go. And then we just finish knitting the round until we get to the stitch holder. At this point, you can kind of see the pattern where the handles are going to go. We don't really need well, we can still use the stitch holder for another round. First, just knit. And then here we're going to cast on some stitches for the handle. Again, you can use any method that you like. We prefer the backward loop. So the same way you were casting on to start your project. So you're just casting on some stitches for the handle. If you want to make any modifications to the bag, for example, the number of stitches you cast on here, that controls the length of your handle. So if for whatever reason you wanted to have a longer handle, just cast on more stitches. So when we're done, we are going to connect that handle to the bag, and just we keep knitting until we get to the second handle. Okay, so both handles are done. The last round is, basically just all knit. So here we go, just all regular knit. Just keep going until the end of the round. When you're done with your last round, we're just going to cast off. So knit 2 stitches, pull the yarn over, and then keep adding 1. So knit 1, pull it over, knit 1, pull it over. You can pull the yarn over with your fingers, or you can use your knitting needle, whichever way you find it more convenient to do. And so when you're at the end, there's going to be a little gap, so you want to make sure you knit that extra stitch there to make it completely smooth. Okay, then you cut the yarn, leaving a couple inches, 2-3 inches. Then you pull it through your remaining loop. Make sure it's secure, and then you just hide the end. You just weave it in and hide it in between the stitches. You can optionally also use a felting needle to felt it in for more security, but it's completely optional. So you can see the handles looking really nice. And then the last part would be basically just seaming the bottom of the bag. And it's completely up to you how you want to do it. You can use a giant tapestry needle. I prefer to just do it with my fingers. If there's a specific stitch you prefer to do, that's completely fine. This is the way, for me, this is the easiest way to do it. So I just pick up every stitch and I pull the yarn through, and then I do the same thing on the other side. And then when you pull it through, you just kind of want to make sure it's all even. Don't pull it too tight, don't make it too loose. You don't want anything to fall out from your bag. Just keep going to the end. So we're at the end here, and so your last stitch, you just want to make sure you pull the yarn through and secure it like so. Okay, great. Then you can just pull the yarn through on the inside, and then later you can trim it and weave it in. So you just want to make sure everything looks nice and clean. Then optionally, if you want to put fringe on your bag, You just you cut the fringe with the remaining yarn. So I prefer to cut all my fringe first and then start applying it, tying it to the bag. You can do it with your fingers. It's pretty easy. So you just put the fringe in and then you tie it. You can use a crochet hook if that's easier, and then you would just pick up a strand of yarn with the hook, or I just use my fingers. And then you attach the fringe just evenly throughout the bag in a kind of checkerboard pattern. And this is our final result. Two options, with or without fringe.